You're listening to the Handcrafted Therapy podcast with massage therapist and business owner, Julie Alexander. That's me. I'm your host. I've been a massage therapist for 17 years and I have a business marketing degree. On this podcast, we'll be interviewing industry professionals that can talk to us about how to run your business better, how to be a better massage therapist overall, and how to take care of yourself and give yourself a little love, a little self-care. Little grace in your life. I am so glad that you're here. Thanks so much for joining us today. All right. Welcome to the show, Robert Gardner. He is an expert in all things Thai massage related. Am I correct in saying that?
Again, it's debatable. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. I can't wait to talk to you and you can tell us in your own words what it is that you do for our world and how you make our world a little bit of a better place through your massage practice and your instruction. We're going to talk to Robert a little bit today about what he has learned in his career, and hopefully he can pass on some wise nuggets of truth to us, and maybe we can learn from some of these things that he's gone through. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you.
So, Robert, where do you live?
I'm in Austin, Texas, and I've been here since 2008, I think. I actually forget. It was a year after Hurricane Katrina. I moved from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I've been here ever since.
Nice. Well, welcome to Texas. Yeehaw. So what is it that you do exactly in Austin? Tell us all about it.
I started many years ago and had to figure out how to manifest my dreams, which none of my educational background in massage school or college or anything else prepared me for. Entrepreneurship doesn't seem to have a school. And there were a lot of things where I went, okay, how do I figure this out? Like, okay, I like this mat stuff, but no massage facility in Austin allows it. So I got to build my own business. So how do you get clients? How do you build a practice? How do you? I kept working at it, and very quickly, as things started to grow, I realized that if I only saw clients, I was only helping one person at a time. But if I taught, I could help all of the students I was working with, and then the service would expand and kind of filter out through the community. So I started teaching, and then that continued the spiral to what it is today, which is 50% of my income comes from teaching online through 4 different cameras, both in pre-recorded fashion and live interactively inside Zoom. So I'm doing apprenticeships online. I've got a subscription service. I still see clients, but the teaching practice has grown, and I continue to nurture that here in Austin. The marketplace is radically different than when I started, especially I think post-COVID shifted some things. So I just continue working with clients, helping people, teaching students, and trying to bring them along.
Awesome. So tell us how you met the mat. Like, when was it when you discovered Thai massage and fell in love with that?
I was in Baton Rouge and I'd worked in food service. The big debate for a while was I was either going to go into culinary arts, where I probably would have gotten into like molecular gastronomy. I'd be like some food chemist, or I would go into body work. And I decided to go into body work because I felt that I wouldn't be in a 100-degree kitchen with a bunch of angry men on drugs with knives. So I chose that route. And when I went into body work, I still used food as a side gig. I was working at a health food store and a school owner in Baton Rouge. I went to school out of state, but when I came back, I was networking with the local massage community there in Baton Rouge. And Vernon owned a local massage school. He came into the health food store I was working at, and he said, hey, I need a cook for this retreat we're having. Could you? And I go, what do you need? And it's like I had to make a little menu and just make some food for the people who were coming to the retreat. And the advantage was I got to go to the retreat for free, because as long as I prepared the meals or whatever. And there was a young lady who did a demonstration of Thai massage where I saw it the first time. And when I talk about this, I got out of school in 2002. So this was probably 2003, so 20 years ago. And YouTube, I don't think started until 2006. So if you understand, like, it just, the media wasn't what it is now. She did a demonstration. I looked at it and I went, that looks like some kind of mix of like massage and yoga. And I was already practicing yoga at that time. I had a session with one of her assistants. I was completely blown away by it. It was like this weird amalgam of things I'd been dealing with between massage and body work. And at that point, I was like, I'll take everything she teaches. For the next 2 or 3 years, I parasitically attached myself as a teaching assistant and just studied. I just dove into the work. And I was also, at the time that I was learning it, in the beginnings of this process of dealing with the massage community and massage culture related to the table. So I was working at facilities, getting my feet wet, trying to understand how to build a business. And now it was mat-based. I was dealing with all of that. And I also, as a Westerner, never approached Thai massage from a traditional perspective. It doesn't have any context in the United States. So a little bit like yoga, you were free to change certain things depending on what you felt was best for the students. I was doing the same thing in my own practice and then just continuing to develop and evolve.
That's awesome. And so you mentioned that Austin, they weren't allowed to do Thai mat work at that time.
So when we talk about this, understand that I'm not talking about your private practice. In your private practice, you can do whatever you want. You can't go to Massage Envy and do mat work. You can't go to Hand and Stone and do mat work. You can't go to any major massage franchise and do mat work. It's not allowed. So that situation prevents the massage from penetrating a larger marketplace. And that situation has come up again and again. I had a conversation last night with a student who basically is trying to encourage me to go brick and mortar. Open a place, train the staff, and I'm like, no. And that fight has existed for the last 10 or so years where students don't understand exactly what I'm doing, and I continue pushing the business online. When I say the mat work is not allowed, you have to understand that there are certain things that happen when I teach where the joke is this: I'll teach table tie. In the morning of class, the students start working and then they drop the table as low as it can go. And I go, the lowest setting on a table is a mat. Then in the afternoon of the same class, they start getting on the table. I wait till half the class gets on the table. I'm not teaching them this, by the way. They just do it on their own. They get on the table and I go, hey guys, why are you guys getting on the table? And they're like, well, we want more leverage and pressure. And I'm like, congratulations, you're doing mat work, you're doing mat work, you're doing mat work. And they all go, oh.
Ding, ding, ding.
Getting on the table is not culturally sanctioned. The massage community is changing. And when I say culture, I mean it in the deepest South Louisiana sense of the word. Where do you live in Texas?
I'm in Dallas.
Okay, so ask an Austinite if the tacos are better in Dallas. Oh,
No.
see, and here's the thing. It's like we had a conversation, and it's like, because when I moved to Austin, it's in Central Texas. So you got Houston, you got San Antonio, you got Dallas. It's like I'm trying to understand what's going on culturally. And people would say, I'd hear this occasionally. They'd go, oh, the tacos are better when you go to San Antonio and South. Now, as a kid growing up in Louisiana, we didn't eat a ton of tacos. Culture is a really weird thing. And when people kind of push back that there's massage culture, I'm like, I don't know if you've traveled enough and talked to enough therapists, because I can't get good gumbo in Austin, and it's only 8 hours away from where I grew up. And they go, well, no, but Houston and Dallas, they're totally different. And I go, cool, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette. And they're like, well, it's all the same, right? And I'm like, what I'm teaching doesn't follow the culture at large, is probably the easiest way to say it. And I still regularly get into these little battles about, like, the biggest one lately, are you ready, has been aesthetics. And what the students want is they want the lightly softened room and candles and incense. And I go, yeah, I don't want to do that at all. And they're like, I'm like, I need a well-lit room where I can turn on the cameras and film what I'm doing and teach more people. And they go, oh, but can't the people, like, why do they have to have lightly softened rooms to relax? Mm-hmm. In fact, why don't we just do it in public? Just completely close on. Let's just keep their clothes on, work on public in a mat, in a well-lit room where we film everything. And they go, but no, that's not how we do things. And I'm like, I'm well aware it's causing a lot of the problems in your industry.
You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong at all. Jeez, that's pretty incredible to think about in a nice point of view. Robert, can you do me a favor and just describe a tie mat session like you were trying to sell it to me as a customer? Why is it, what's the difference between a traditional massage and what you do from the customer's point of view?
So for you, are you having any specific problems?
Physically or mentally?
Well, I think they're connected, and this is exactly what the intake is like.
Yes, it is.
Are you having any physical pain? We'll start with that.
Yes, I've worked out a couple of times this week, and I'm pretty sore.
Okay, where at?
Abs, glutes, legs, maybe.
Okay, yeah. Cool. So let's go ahead and work on that. If 10 was the hospital and 0 was no pain, where are you at now?
2.
A 2. Okay. So my hope is to reduce those by 2 points on a scale to get you hopefully to a 0, but you worked out, you're a little sore. I want you to take off your shoes and go ahead and just lay down on this mat.
I'm going to pretend like I'm doing that.
I'll continue the intake, if you want to call it that, as we are chatting. And I may ask, hey, what exercises were you doing? Were you doing squats? Because they said it was abs and, glutes. I communicate more verbally with the clients, and fundamentally one of the divides I eventually had with the mainstream massage community, when I work with students, there's this thing that happens where they want to be service providers. They want to provide the massage, the culturally sanctioned box of a massage, and a massage is table, cream, glide, and nudity. And I get rid of the table, get rid of the glide, get rid of the cream, and get rid of the nudity. Where I'm told by massage therapists that what I do is not massage. And I go, cool, then we don't need licenses in all 50 states. I focused on pain and relieving that pain, problem, solution. What I found as I worked on chronic pain specifically, which was my real bread and butter, it was interesting because it worked for several reasons. One, it was where my heart was. I wanted to help people out of pain without medications or surgeries, if at all possible. And also it was that people who are in chronic pain did not care what tools I used. My clients don't come in and ask maybe about Thai massage, because that's the closest to what I promote, but they don't ask about myofascial release, trigger point, pain science, dermoneuromodulating. They don't ask about that stuff. And in fact, extremely well-educated people that I work with here in Austin, as I work on them and as they feel it being effective, then they start to ask questions. I don't understand. How did you? And I'm like, man, I've been mashing on people for 20 years. Like, I spent all of my time trying to understand the biology just to be able to help myself out of pain and then passing that on to clients. And they're like, no, but how did you get to such a radical? I'm like, because I wasn't focused on giving a massage. I was focused on getting you out of pain. That conversation worked inordinately well for clients. Clients consistently, this is what I would hear, clients would consistently work with me. The last one I remember, she came in at an 8, and after session 2, she left at a 2.
Wow.
And she hopped up and she went, you mean I don't need surgery? And I was like, Anju, as far as I can tell, you have muscle tension. That muscle tension is leading to some degree of pain. If you're not having muscle tension and your pain reduces by 6 points, like, you haven't told me anything that a doctor would need to surgically cut on. I'm not a doctor. Please deal with your doctors and deal with them. But to me, you're just having a very bad case of like muscle tension that was leading to some of that soft tissue pain that you felt. Mm-hmm. In addition, that same client will freak out about what I'm doing and go, I don't understand. Why aren't massage therapists doing what you're teaching? I was like, there's not a lot of proof of concept about hippies standing on people. Doctors ain't prescribing it. The clients say, this is amazing. I didn't know. This is like the thing I always wanted. I felt like maybe it existed, but I didn't know where to get it. They're like, I can't get what you do anywhere. And I'm like, I'm teaching it as fast as I can. I cannot, like, people do what they do, and they, massage therapists, I tell them, massage therapists go to massage school, get a massage license, and work in a massage facility to do massage, not this crazy shit I'm doing on a mat. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. On the other side, remember I said the clients love it? The mm-hmm. other side is the therapists go, I don't understand. This isn't massage. What they're saying is, this is not the service I was taught to deliver in school. And I go, correct. You were taught to get a job at a big box franchise like Massage Envy. If you go and do the full expression of what I teach at a big box chain, you will be fired. Mm-hmm. And it's not because the work isn't effective, it's because it doesn't fit into their culture.
Right, right. So you use your feet when they're on the mat, and are you pulling and stretching and that kind of stuff as well?
I think from an outsider's perspective, I put out a lot of video and photos so people can see it. I think if I had to describe it verbally, I would tell people it's therapeutic Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I love that.
I put you in joint locks on a mat. I'm like pressing on you, leaning on stuff, mobilizing joints.
Yeah.
That's probably the easiest verbal description. The other piece is I clued into the fact eventually that because my work was clothed, I could film everything. I put out tons of video as much as I can to be able to just continue to educate the public. And the teaching practice continues to grow. The client practice continues to grow. And I just nurture it and find the outliers, the students who work for themselves and want to do something different, or Julie in Omaha, who works in a facility that's, a big box chain that's incorporating the beginnings of my techniques on a table.
I like that. So it sounds like you've had quite an uphill battle dealing with people that are thinking within the box, right? And, I mean, that's probably a very simplified way of putting it, but how have you, I know you've taught so many students how to do this, and they go off onto their own practices to practice these things. How do you see this presenting itself in the future for these big box places like Massage Envy? Do you think they'll ever incorporate this type of practice in their services?
I don't know. I think if people ask me, it's 2023, like, what does the massage market look like in 2043? 20 years ago, YouTube didn't exist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I go, what I don't know is the ongoing growth of artificial intelligence and eventually robotics. So it's hard to predict. There's such big changes brewing. Mm-hmm. I do think that, let's say in the next 10 years, a little bit easier, shorter time frame, I think that there are going to be more niche bodywork services. People who do aquatic therapy, therapeutic flight, stretch labs, stretch zones, stretch therapy has grown. Now, when stretch therapy came along, I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. Mm-hmm. I was like, they figured out 50% of it. They're not on the mat, they're on a table. It's completely clothed. They're filming and photo documenting it. And you don't need a massage license? I see massage therapists regularly get into arguments about this. And I go, y'all know that's table tie, right? Y'all know that's the same thing I've been trying to teach you for the last 8 years that you refuse to do because you keep saying your clients want massage, right? Now massage therapists come into Facebook groups and ask for stretch routines. And I go, hey guys, I've been teaching this table tie for 10 plus years. What about this? And like, no offense, Rob, but Thai massage just isn't my style. And I'm like, really? Because I'm told what I teach isn't Thai massage. There will be more niche bodywork services. I don't know what form they take. For instance, if you just look at Stretch Lab as something that we can look at now, Stretch Zone, I don't know what's going to happen, for instance, to massage regulation if those companies continue to do what they're doing. And it lends to a very weird, like kind of murky legal situation. I've been working with a lawyer for the last 5 years or so, and literally before I make any big business changes, I go to my lawyer and go, this is what I'm trying to do. And he goes, that's illegal, but you could do this. And have to be careful to not, like, I don't know, break state laws, basically.
Yeah.
And the issue is there will be more niche bodywork services. What I have a harder time thinking about, I can make some predictions that are pretty brutal. I don't think there's been a good history of large companies, let's say Massage Envy, we'll use them because they're the biggest. They're the least likely to write me with hate mail, you know. If Massage Envy continues doing what they're doing, so they add Strato, their stretch service, they add facials, they've even rebranded. It's about me. It's about me. What happens to Massage Envy as the marketplace continues to diversify? Niche bodywork services crop up. I felt like what Massage Envy did was play defense, and they added a stretch service and said, oh, we can hire stretch people. But do people go to Massage Envy to get a stretch? Did anybody go to McDonald's to get a crazy kind of Starbucksy drink of coffee?
Probably not.
but that's what McDonald's added, because they got away from their core service playing defense because they were losing breakfast money to Starbucks. That sort of defense to me is not, this is my personal preference. I try to play offense. I try to move so far, so fast, nobody can figure out what's going on, and have a lawyer to make sure I stay out of prison.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that Massage Envy is going to contact me and open Thai Massage Envy. They're going to say, they're introducing a new paradigm that's mat-based. How do we compete with this? Instead of creating the new service and going forward. When we get to that creation part, even students in private practice, I think based on the education I've done in the last 20 years and teaching students, 80% of the problem is a business problem. It has nothing to do with massage or body work. There are massage therapists listening to this that do Swedish. The Swedish is awesome. They should dive into Swedish and become an expert on Swedish and talk about their sheets and their soffitted lighting and all the stuff they do for Sweden and Swedish and per Henrik Ling and Swedish and Swedish and Swedish, and become the Swedish person on YouTube, TikTok, whatever social media. You're fine. The issue is my students do the techniques and they go, yeah, these are great. I love these, but my clients want massage. They have a sales problem. They have a business problem. They have a marketing problem. And then I go, your clients are now clothed. You can film and photo document everything. Mm-hmm. And they go, but we hate social media. And I go, cool. If you dislike how people are communicating in 2023, you're going to have to do a lot of in-person events to create the business that you want. Large chains like Massage Envy added their stretch service. I guarantee you, somewhere in that boardroom, if I had a chance to talk to them, they went, we're losing the athlete market. They're going over to Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone. How do we play defense and add this thing? And it's like, I think offense is the way to go. And I think to a degree, for an independent therapist, niching down to a specialized service is better. When I talk to students about this, there's a little bit of frustration. I even hear this in Austin constantly for years and years and years. Even pre-COVID, therapists would say that the market's saturated. And I'm like, saturated with what? And they're like, massage. Like, there's too many massage therapists. And I'm like, so why don't you offer a different service for pain management? Huh? No, but I do massage. My clients are asking for massage. And I'm like, your clients are asking for massage because that's what you sold them. Why don't you sell them a better service for pain management? Because that's what I do. And then they kind of go, no, fuck you. We don't like you anyway. You're annoying. And it's like, okay, that's cool. That's everybody's choice, but it is a way of like setting yourself apart and charging different fees, structuring the service differently. For instance, my sessions are 3 hours long. I am consistently told that, well, customers won't buy. And I'm like, are you sure? I've been doing it for quite a while now. And it's like, I'm a little bit of an outlier, both in my education and in the business itself. I don't know long-term that differentiation in the marketplace, that niching down, aquatic therapies, therapeutic flight, I don't know, like craniosacral in a warm saline pool with like multiple therapists. There is a market for that. But you have to have a facility that has a pool and the staff that can carry out the service. But once you create it, nobody else can compete with it. I can't do that in my studio. I don't have a pool. Those niche services, I think, are where the marketplace is going. And the mass market is still fixated on mostly what they think of as massage or like stretch. Those are probably the two closest things that I see on a daily basis. Like if I talk to students and ask them, what does the public know about trigger point therapy, myofascial release, craniosacral therapy, lomi? Almost nothing. And if you talk to massage therapists, they'll start to argue, which is where, as my stuff grew and I was teaching Thai massage, they're like, what you teach isn't Thai. And I go, for a white guy who grew up in South Louisiana, who lives in Central Texas and makes a mean pot of gumbo, okay, it's not Thai. It's next level pain relief. Let's move on. And they go, what? I go, if you take the biomechanics of Thai massage and add yoga therapy and pain science, what is that? I think it's the future. Now, people will argue with me, and I go, I like science. I'm not going to argue about it. I think that mobility drills and teaching mobility work via yoga is awesome. And I have a really high success rate helping people out of chronic pain. What's wrong with that? And they're like, you're not following the rules. And I'm like, but I have a lawyer and I don't break the law. Next.
Well, Robert, I'm so glad that you talked about niches, because this is a topic of my podcast that I've had almost every person I interview. We end up talking about this, and I love it so much that I'm actually creating an expo, an event at my training center, and I'd love for you to come and be an exhibitor. Not to put you on the spot to sell you right now, but on February 24th, we're having what I'm calling a Find Your Niche Expo. And that's on a Saturday in Plano, Texas, just north of Dallas. And what the people will be able to see is come in and check everybody out and see what interests them. Kind of get a feel for what you do. So we can throw a Thai mat on the floor for you and put you in one of the areas that you can display your expertise at, and then our attendees can go around and look. I'll be doing metacupping. I know barefoot massage, ashiatsu will be there. We have a few different other people going to be at this trade show. So I'm really excited that you mentioned this, because I do truly believe that this is the future of massage therapy, that a lot of people are making their own niches. I've seen other instructors combine cupping with taping, for instance. I mean, that's just one of several combinations that we can do. But I want to ask another question. Have you ever been to Thailand and studied? No? And so this is kind of something you've created yourself.
Well, it's controversial. And I remember there was a Facebook group where I did a podcast. I think it was my podcast, but I did a podcast, and a young lady found out that I had never been to Thailand, and she went to this Facebook group and she's like, fuck this guy. This guy's never been to Thailand. He can't teach Thai massage. And people knew who it was. Like the bodywork community is pretty small. If you're talking about a white guy who teaches Thai massage and has a podcast, that pretty much narrows it down.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the deal is, I take it as a point of pride that I never went to Thailand, because what happens is you're learning traditions and cultural boxes from Thailand, which are wonderful in context. If I ever go hang out with Pachet's son, like, I will bring flowers and bananas, for the Buddha altar, and I will say the White Crew, and I follow along because I'm in your country now. I'm in your culture. The problem is, how do you fit that in Central Texas with brisket? Like, I would tell people, they'd get mad. You can't teach Thai massage. You've never been to Thailand. And I'm like, well, I teach yoga and I've never been to India. And they're like, and I'm like, you eat Chinese food. You've never been to Sichuan in China. It's like, it's a culture box, basically.
It is.
What I was looking at was, again, problem, solution. For me, there were pieces where if you're not careful, the tradition starts to limit innovation. And if I talk to students about it, I would like martial arts. Okay. I don't have a martial arts background. I don't know how to punch. You'll beat me up if you know any, especially if you know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you'll wipe me out. I was like, who's the most famous martial artist? And they're like, Bruce Lee. I'm like, cool. Did Bruce Lee teach Wing Chun or did he teach Jeet Kune Do? And they're like, what? I'm like, Bruce Lee trained in Wing Chun in China. Bruce Lee developed Jeet Kune Do, which was Wing Chun with the footwork from fencing and grappling. He made his own style. And they're like, screw Bruce Lee. He never finished his Wing Chun training. And I'm like, there we go. Next. Like, I can't, if you're going to complain about Bruce Lee, you're going to complain about me.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's just a Robert Gardner wellness podcast. Yeah.
Nice. And you talk about what we're kind of stuff we're talking about, or what do you focus on?
Yeah, I continue to differentiate. There's other sides to my personality besides the body work and education. So over time, the podcast may reach out to different audiences or things that are interesting to me. But primarily now, it's interviewing other educators or massage therapists in the industry about things related to body work and massage and what we're doing in the US. Over time, there's just other things. Like, I had someone who talked about Texas history at one point, which was super interesting to me. And he's talking about the Spanish and the French and the this and the that and different, basically the colonial powers fighting over Texas and how it led to Texas as we think of it today.
That's cool. That's cool. I'll have to check it out. I haven't listened to your podcast. I didn't know you had one. I'm glad that we talked about that. Yeah. So podcast listeners, there's another podcast for you if you're interested in hearing more from Robert. It sounds to me that he's got some good things to say. So find your niche, focus on results-driven work. That's really what I preach a lot too, is focus on what your client needs. Tell me about what you think of these stretch zone places. Do you think that they're going to last? Do you think that they're going to go out of business? Do you like them? Do you not like them? How do you feel?
I'm going to be completely and brutally honest with you. I was told that what I did was not massage for so long. I finally threw my hands up in the air and said, you are correct. And they went, what? I'm like, it's next level pain relief. You want to be a next level pain relief specialist? And they're like, what the? I'm like, it's a brand. Nike, Reebok, and Adidas are brands. They sell athletic wear and shoes. Students don't like this conversation in class, by the way. They hate the conversation about brands. And they're like, we don't like brands. We don't like that shit. Don't work on me. I'm like, cool. Y'all want to go get a hamburger? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, where y'all want to go? Whataburger. And they go, what about In-N-Out? Fuck In-N-Out. I hate In-N-Out's fries. And I go, Fuddruckers, Wendy's, In-N-Out, Whataburger. Brands. They all sell hamburger, frying, and drink. Now, what brands exist in the massage industry?
Massage Envy?
What? And I'm like, massage envy,
Yeah.
hand and stone, elements. I literally looked at my lawyer and I went, Mr. Lawyer, we've been dealing with some of this stuff for a while. Stretch lab, stretch zone. And he's like, well, Robert, they don't call it massage. And I'm like, next level pain relief on the way. And he went, good name choice. The deal is, I don't know enough about Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone and their business model. I don't think that the people who started those were massage therapists, one, is my guess. I think that they're probably closer to like the personal training sort of world and saw an opening in the market, figured out with lawyers' help that they could carve out that niche and avoid massage regulation. And then they can charge comparable amounts to massage for somebody who's only had 3 or 4 days of training. You don't have to go to an $8,000 massage school, in other words. The public seems to like it. And the proof of concept is it's not just Stretch Lab or Stretch Zone. It's like other stretch facilities and stretch related things. It's diversifying the marketplace outside of massage regulation or outside of the massage industry. What I generally think is going to happen is, and this is the part where things get sketchy. Now that you've got Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone and these corporate entities, what happens when these people start working privately on their own, doing what I teach? Because I'm teaching from 4 cameras on the internet globally. And they go, well, they need a massage license. And I'm like, I don't really do massage. In fact, you kept telling me it wasn't massage. And they're like, what? You can't? And I'm like, oh, I have a lawyer. I don't think you guys understand what's going on. I teach from like 50% of my business is teaching from 4 camera angles. My subscription service is $7 a month, and you can see every curse, every rant, every time I lost my mind on Kristen in class since 2017. Like, I'm not denying people information, and I'm not going to start like checking licenses at the door for a $7 a month subscription.
Right.
It's hard for me to predict because I don't know enough about Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone and their market saturation. I still talk to therapists, for instance, who live in an area where it's more rural and there's no even massage envy. They don't even have big box chains. Now, I know that where you are in Dallas, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tons, right? Tons of like different stuff. Yep. What I don't know is if the big guys can do it, what happens when the independents start running around? And how is, because it's like, okay, so let's say they take the stretch and they put it on a mat. Well, when it's like, no, it's just stretch therapy. And it's like, man, that's a weird legal construct. And I don't know how massage as an industry in terms of regulation is going to deal with that. And because I educate across 50 states, you're dealing with a huge sets of laws. Students generally think about their practice and what they're doing in their city. So they don't think about when they hop across state lines about law changes and what it means to scope of practice or, I don't know, other issues. I think that more niche services are coming, but I do think that within the next 10 years, the massage industry is probably going to look radically different for a variety of reasons. The people who are using TikTok right now are going to go to massage school tomorrow. When I go into massage schools, they have a sign up that says, absolutely no phones. And I'm like, wow, is this school Amish? Like, you're blocking the most potent communication tool in history. You're still calling in a phone instead of a small personal computer. Like, I mean, it just happens to make phone calls still. I don't know what happens. The other piece of that in relation to like what happens to Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone, does their business model grow? I think it also depends on pricing. It depends on market saturation. I don't think anybody in the massage industry, do you know, when did a Massage Envy start?
Oh, you know what? I'll be interviewing one of them next week. My guess is probably in the late 90s.
So I don't think massage therapists could have predicted Massage Envy. When I talk about brand, I go, what did Massage Envy do to claim the market, to become the leader? They're not owned by massage therapists, by the way.
No,
Again,
not.
and they go, well, they gave them that deal, and I'm like, a subscription, low cost, once a month. Massage Envy took over the marketplace. Massage Envy now has big enough dollars and big enough representation to make sure they're represented on state massage boards to help steer massage law to benefit them. And as digital technologies continue to increase and Massage Envy opens massage schools to do some of the training online to benefit Massage Envy. I don't know what's going to happen. I do think that therapists who are not diversifying services are likely to lose some market share. And I don't know what the big guys are going to do. Again, Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone are enough out of my wheelhouse. Like I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know if, for instance, they're looking at statistics and numbers and thinking, okay, it's 2023, by 2033, we're going to double in size. I don't know what their corporate like steering is going to do. One of the things that has been the most challenging in my practice is I am consistently told massage therapists cannot learn online. And I go 50 to 75% of my business is teaching online. I don't know if you're talking to my students or not. Like, this is not going away. Nobody ever takes off clothes. I film and photo document everything since 2017, and I have no plans to stop. I just don't have enough money yet to have a film crew follow me around.
Well, I did want to make a PSA announcement since I have the platform and we're talking about stretch zones and those types of facilities. One of my clients, she's in her 80s. She was a target. She went to one of the stretch places, I don't know which one, and they signed her up for a membership without her permission. And she was charged for it and then has had to dispute that. So I want to put out there, just if you're interested in, as a customer, becoming a customer of these stretch places, number one, just make sure you're signed up for what you want to be signed up for and you don't get talked into something else, kind of like the Wells Fargo banking, accounts. You're signed up for things that you're not given permission to that company to do. Number two, make sure that the person that you're getting stretched from is actually legitimately trained.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, that one's a rough one.
I'm like, what is that? I'm like, what does that mean?
Yes. Well, that's a good question. What does that mean? I mean, and that's exactly what you're talking about, and you're talking about the future of massage. I think the niche is already here. I'm booked through 2024, almost the whole year. And I have customers at my store, my training store, my massage supply and training store, that come in that are massage therapists that are struggling with their books, struggling with getting people on their books. And I think that's because they're not niched, right? They don't have a specialty. They don't focus on results-driven massage. It's just relaxation or whatever, which is important. It's important for us to have relaxation, massage.
I mean, I think fundamentally, okay, you don't have to have a niche. You can just do Swedish. If you want to call it that a niche. It's pretty big, but it's a niche.
Right.
The difference is, do you have enough customers, enough eyes, enough audience to be able to draw people in your local area to fill you up? Most of the students I talk to do not. And they keep talking to me and going, well, how do I'm like, cool, I will continue teaching you the body work. You don't have a body work problem. You have a business problem. And they're like, I hate social media. And I'm like, you can try to run a practice as the Unabomber, but the typewriter is not going to get you very far. Like, guys, like, if I talk to students and go, why do I have a podcast? And they're like, I don't know, it don't make any sense. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, you have to position yourself as an expert in your field. And, but, that's why I have a podcast. I'm
Yeah.
positioning myself as an expert in my field. Now, maybe I sound like, I don't know what I'm talking about because sometimes I don't. And that's okay. That's why I'm asking other people questions so I can learn more and, have an audience that learns more as well. We're all growing in this field.
The biggest issue is social media reach. So let's say you take this video and then they're going to be clips cut from this video and like floated on Facebook. Okay,
Yep.
so now your business tags my business, and then I share this through my business page on Facebook, and it's got like 11,000 people. And some of my fans become your fans. And now there's cross promotion. And they go, no, I hate social media. And I'm like, cool, you don't like how people communicate in 2023? And they're like, no, I hate social media. And I go, cool, you don't like how people communicate in 2023? Like,
and social media is not the end all be all. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, and it's just kind of like in the 90s. Oh, by the way, Massage Envy was created and formed in 2002. So they're 21 years old, 22 years old this year.
yeah.
So anyway, I think social media is not necessarily the end all be all, because if you have some really amazing clients that you give great service to and they see fantastic results, they're going to leave your door and tell everybody they know, man, Robert just fixed my back and I haven't been in pain. I have been without pain for the first time in 20 years, right? It's possible.
I mean, if you want to do chair massage events and make sure people know about you, you can, but it's going to be a lot of labor. I think the saving grace was I had niched down and I made tons of video. So you blanketed your entire area with people looking for my service. Now, let's say out of 100 people, only 2 people became clients. Doesn't matter. Those 2 clients got me 2 more clients and got me Google reviews, which you can talk about whether Google reviews are social media, by the way. And the issue is the same thing happens with students. So I blast my stuff out and I draw the 2 students out of 100. Now, a lot of the other students are like, fuck that guy. We hate Robert Gardner. And I'm like, you've never met me. And they're like, yeah, we don't like you. You have a huge ego. We watch your videos. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Your potential customers don't know who you are either.
Right.
Because you spend your time commenting on my videos instead of making your videos without ego. Mm-hmm. Like, how do I win? And they go, yeah, but I hate social media. And I'm like, so stop talking to me on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I mean, like it or not, this is a communication method, right? I mean, really, like it or not, it exists. I mean, it's just like in the 90s when we used email marketing tools all the time. I mean, we still use email marketing to communicate in a lot of ways. But if you're attracting a specific audience that are under the age of probably 60, maybe 70, you're going to have to use other forms of communication to reach your audience via social media marketing, to be honest. But referrals are something that I preach a lot about. If you have a client and you make them happy, ask for them to give you referrals. Ask for that. I think that's really important. If somebody's happy with your services, send me more people like you.
I have to mess with language. So what I teach isn't Thai massage. Let's call it next level pain relief. You can't call it yoga. Let's call it yoga therapy. All right, let's don't call it social media. Let's call it, you like word of mouth, right? Let's call it digital word of mouth.
Yes.
I got on digital word of mouth today. I put a video up on digital word of mouth and they're like, no, I hate social media. And I'm like, ooh, that's going to be hard. Yeah. This is going to be a battle. It's like,
social media is like a party. You can decide which conversations you're going to be a part of. And if you don't like social media, it's because you're in the wrong conversation. You need to move your attention to something else something that actually promotes your business?
I don't know. Maybe there are other industries, but I deal with massage therapists, so they're the ones I'm around and talk to. I'm assuming there must be other industries that say things like I hate social media regularly, but I don't interact with them. The rest of the world that I see is streaming on Twitch and musicians doing the Friday night slumber party, getting donations live, while Chance the Rapper is going direct to consumer and avoiding, recording companies. Like, the massage industry, I think I get a lot of students, and I think they think there's some sort of purity to the healing work that they do, which is in person. They love word of mouth because they want to do that wonderful healing work with that one client, have them refer the other clients. I have never in my life seen an industry where it was a point of pride that you built a business where you never used social media and you never ran ads. I see massage therapists in a Facebook group say, nope, I never ran ads. I just relied on word of mouth. And they're teaching that marketing to other massage therapists in 2023. And I go, if I had followed your marketing, I would be living under a freeway overpass. Like, no, I can't with good conscience teach a massage student in 2023 in school, a 20-year-old, to market that way. Sorry. Like, don't get me wrong, work on people and get word of mouth referrals. I mean, if you want to go crazy, even have your stuff listed in the yellow pages, but you need to add some additional, layers of like marketing. And then people have to choose you and your particular service. They can go somewhere else in town and get, quote unquote, a massage. What they can't get is you. It's a very personal service, which to me lends itself to social media. But I posted on my personal Facebook page recently, because I do this with students, who's the most famous massage therapist in the United States?
Phoebe from Friends.
And I said that. Nobody caught my sarcasm. Everybody starts quoting stuff from Seinfeld and Friends, and it's like, because you spend your time using stuff to be entertained instead of to produce. It's like, I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't resent it in any way, but massage therapists are the first ones to complain about the public's conception of massage as sex work, instead of taking out their phone and showing people what massage really is via digital word of mouth and reality TV.
You make a very good point there, because we as industry leaders in massage, we have to, I know, we're
tell anybody.
Adulting hard. We're adulting hard here, Robert. We're professionals and we're leaders in our industry, that we're adulting hard. But I think it's our responsibility to re-educate the public and get them out of that. Can I do a box like you? There we go. Get them out of that box, right? And educate them and put the word out, right? As all massage professionals should do. And we all get our word out that this is not just, it's not the old school masseuse at a massage parlor. Ugh.
Yeah.
Makes me gag to say that, but
yeah,
we're not.
Well, students, have you seen, we talked about Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone. Have you seen any of their ads on Facebook recently?
I haven't.
So I pay attention to this because I probably type about Stretch Zone or something. So the ads show up in my feed. There'll be a Stretch Zone or Stretch Lab ad, and it says, do you have plantar fasciitis? Do you have sciatica? Come on in for your stretch. We'll help you feel healthy and young. And I go, massage therapists, why aren't you running ads that say, do you have carpal tunnel syndrome? Do you have, and they're like, no, I can't do that. And I'm like, you can't do what? And they're like, it sounds like you're diagnosing and treating conditions. And I'm like, well, they can do it. In other words, that little thing about, we talk about the box, like, massage therapists are comfortable selling massage. they're not comfortable selling a solution. And they're like, no, massage is the solution. Like and I'm like, no. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the very
How many people in the public get carpal tunnel issues and think I got to go get a massage?
Probably very little. They don't
Why?
connect the two.
Why?
We don't connect the two because we don't market solution-based problems for massage, and we should. One of the very first things that I've learned in marketing school, I went to business marketing school 100 years ago, and one of the very first things we learned in marketing was solve a problem. If you can solve a problem, you can make money. Those two are directly related. If here's the problem, here's the solution, you put it together. Yeah. It's as simple as that with any business, whether it's a product or service, it doesn't matter. If you're solving a problem, you're going to make money, but you got to tell them, you got to say, is this your problem? I can fix it.
Yeah. It's what I've heard from students is they're afraid it breaks some sort of scope of practice rule. And they go, it sounds like, in my case, they're like, it sounds like you're diagnosing and treating conditions. And I'm like, no, I'm providing a pain management solution. Wait, what? But we can't. And I'm like, we can't address soft tissue pain? We can't address pain relief from a soft tissue perspective? And they're like, no, you're being lawyery and changing all the language. And I'm like, yeah, and it's what you have to do too, because you have to draw clients. And in my case, I was never going to work in a massage facility and do massage and softened lighting for naked people and win at life. I was like, I had to solve a problem and continue expanding. I continue to do that. My students who are studying the body work go, but how did you do this? And I'm like, I don't have children and I work 80 hours a week for the last 20 years. I made sure enough people knew about me so that I got the clients I wanted, and I live a lifestyle that really works for me where I can take a nap at 2 p.m. if I need to. The issue is the students are being taught the massage in school, and they're being taught massage marketing by school owners who made their businesses in the era of the yellow pages. When I come in, I make the students angry because I go, well, yeah, this is just an outdated piece of equipment we used to use called a table. Let's push that out of the way. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, come here. You got a problem? Is your back hurt? Let me solve that for you. Yeah. And they go, but this isn't. I'm like, please tell me it's not massage. And they go, this isn't massage. And I'm like, cool. Then we don't need a massage license in all 50 states.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you've got a good approach though. I mean, and I do believe that those therapists that are having trouble booking appointments right now, I really have a call to action for you. Solve a problem. Go out. You're not diagnosing anybody with anything. You just say, I can work on people that have sciatica. I can work on people and make you feel better and address that pain if you have carpal tunnel, right?
If I was ever pulled into court, and I would, one, consult my lawyer. I've learned this. before you make any big steps or say anything, just consult your lawyer. If people from the massage board said, are you diagnosing and treating conditions? I'd say, absolutely not. I'm telling people that their pain can go away. Mm-hmm. If you have carpal tunnel syndrome, what if your symptoms went away? That's not the same thing as saying you have carpal tunnel syndrome, I'm going to cure it. That's not what I said. Right. The issue is how much in the middle of an opiate epidemic in the United States, how much of it is mental and how much of it is physical? Like there's an opiate epidemic. There are people in pain. Wow. I have a service called Next Level Pain Relief. Yeah. It's like I work on people in pain, and this is the deal. Remember, I can't learn online. Let's push it even further. The students are using this same camera. I'm running 4 of them through a keyboard switcher so I can like switch cameras live. They're reducing people's pain by 5 and 7 points on a pain scale through the cameras, listening to me and working with me live. Wow. The student will finish the session. Their client is jumping up and down, doing cartwheels because their pain is gone. And I can see the student look at me through the cameras and go, but I don't know if they're happy with their massage. And I'm like, you solved the problem.
It has nothing to do with their happiness with the massage. It has to do with the results and that you've solved their problem for them. You know, you're a problem solution provider.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a rough spot. I don't fully understand it. And what I keep saying is the students, for the most part, and when I say this, this is very broad across massage therapists. They want to be service providers, not problem solvers.
Well,
and I don't know any way to prevent that.
I don't think that that's a successful business model to just provide massage and not provide a solution to people's problems. I don't think you're going to be successful. That's my opinion.
Well, there's nuance. We're inside the industry. We know that what we think of as massage is actually very broad, but it's also what the public considers massage. And I don't deal with the public on the whole, other than, occasional comments on my social media. I don't go into mixed company and talk about being a massage therapist very often. So I also, I think, get a very different response because I'm a male in an industry that's probably 85% women. It's like different.
So let's talk about that real quick. I know we're up against time, and if you have to go, we'll kind of.
Oh, no, I don't have anything.
But, I like to talk about males in this industry because you guys are struggling with an uphill battle. And I think that's one of the solutions that you've provided in your mat-based therapy. I hesitate now to call it Thai massage. The mat-based.
Oh, it's fine. That doesn't bother me at all, by the way.
No, when you're providing these solutions and now you're saying you don't have to get undressed, all the rules for basic massage don't apply to the solution that you're providing. I think that's really significant for a male massage therapist to provide a service that you don't have to get undressed for. It automatically takes out that discomfort.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think if I talk to students, this is where things like they're like, you have a huge ego or whatever, like it, or I don't know. In the end, we talked about problem solvers, right? So a therapist solving a problem for specific groups of clients. So as an educator, I look at my audience of potential customers, which are now students, and I go, listen, what if I could give you a service that was better for pain management? We're going to save your hands. You're not going to harm yourself physically doing it. We're going to reduce your overhead. You're going to do less laundry and mats are cheaper. You're going to give people deeper pressure when needed, like using your legs and feet. And we're going to keep the clothes on and work completely publicly so massage therapists are more safe. In addition, you're going to make $100,000 a year in private practice, delivering a service no one else can touch. And they go, that's not possible. And I'm like, too late. We've already created it. It's called Next Level Pain Relief, and it's done on a mat. If people call it Thai massage, I'm like, cool, that's fine. Like my work grew out of Thai massage. I'll never be able to like argue my way out of that. Like I'm deeply, deeply thankful to the Thais for passing on the healing work that, allowed me to continue to develop. The difference is the therapists come to me, and this is what I see, and I'm arrogant about this. They want to do the same thing they've always done and get a different result. And I go, let's change it. And they're like, no, but God damn it, Robert, we learned in school. And I'm like, I don't consider the school owners to be authority figures anymore. I'm sorry. I went to public school in Louisiana. If I had listened to what my educators had wanted in public school in Louisiana, I would be living on a freeway overpass and shooting heroin. That includes doctors and medical professionals. I had a chronic pain problem that was soft tissue related. The Western medical system is fairly broken. Sorry, guys. I love science, but Western medicine as it's practiced for profit doesn't have a lot of pain relief solutions other than pharmaceutical intervention, which includes an Oxycontin epidemic. What if you could save your hands, make more money, help more clients out of chronic? And they're like, no, that's not. In other words, we've never seen anybody other than this crazy wackaloon do it. And I go, cool, you should study what I do and do the service for clients. there's a scalability issue because I can give you video and information, but you have to do the work. I never get students who say what I teach is ineffective. I do get students who say, we don't like you. And I'm like, cool, we don't have to hang out. Like, I'm an asshole, so I know who not to party with outside of class. The deal is, I'm never told it's ineffective. I'm just told that I've changed too many things for it to be massage. And for me, the fundamental thing that I could not accept is I needed my practice to be mat-based. That made me a complete pariah in a table-based industry. It's like, I don't know how to explain to students, okay, well, let's put it this way. What is a massage therapist without a massage table? Unemployed. Like, in other words, that piece of equipment defines our industry. If you look at Massage Magazine or other massage periodicals, they're full of ads and advertisers for those sorts of things. Now, mat work is such a niche. I think it represents less than 1% of the current massage marketplace.
Wow.
In the United States. No major, no, well, I'm making a guess. When you look at Dallas and you think of all the massage facilities in town, how many offer mat work?
I don't know.
Because I'm in Austin. I've been teaching here for 13 years. Kristen is my number one, and she'll go, I don't understand. Why aren't therapists doing what you teach? And I'm like, because they're massage therapists who went to massage schools, who got a massage license, who work in massage facilities. We're outliers doing some weird stuff that has no proof of concept. In fact, proof of concept in the massage industry is brick and mortar. And what have I fought? Brick and mortar. The students in my classes would take a mat class, do the mat work with me in class and go, dude, this is amazing. When are you going to open a place? And I'm like, what? And they're like, dude, the work is good. Why don't you open a place? And I'm like, why would I do that? I'm like, oh, but I want a job. And I'm like, I want 60%. Oh, and it's like, they recognize that the work is good. The problem is there's no social support for this cultural change. I am very much choosing not to run a brick and mortar. And I go, guys, we are in a class for 2 to 3 days. We are at day 1.5. You guys already don't like me, and you want me to be your manager? You want to have that conversation with me? Like, it's not because I'm opposed to brick and mortar as a business model. It's because I don't think I am personally in a position to manage, buy, rent, clean, software, booking, like all the other stuff you have to do to run a brick and mortar business. Because you have like a place to sell stuff, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So, and there's like, man, you got to get the stuff shipped, and then you got to label it, and you got to put it on the shelf, and then you got records in the computer, and it's fine. If that's what your dream is, that's not what my dream is. My dream increasingly became teaching the bodywork online globally from 4 camera angles with very little overhead, which has confused everyone. I mean, forever. Once I started going that direction. The issue is when I say that less than 1% of the massage marketplace is mat-based, if you go to the general public and show them the mat work, they don't go, oh, that's the massage I want. Mm-hmm. I want somebody to put their feet on me. Mm-hmm. No. For me, it was like, are you in bad enough pain, and are you looking for a solution that's not surgical or pharmaceuticals? Mm-hmm. Because I got something for you. If you have carpal tunnel syndrome, if you have sciatica, if you have chronic low back pain or upper back and neck pain, I was taught what I do by a drunk driver. I suffered with chronic pain. I conquered it, and I'm going to show you how. That message is not the massage marketplace. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. That's a very different messaging that to a degree has made me a pariah, but along the way, I've got dedicated clients. Awesome. Thank you so much. I've got dedicated students. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I have really dedicated haters. Thank you so much. Because when there's a thread 100 comments long with people complaining about me, I'm like, that's the best marketing ever. It was free. I didn't do anything. And 99% of these people, I have no idea who they are. Apparently, I'm making inroads and an impact.
I think that if you provide a solution to clients that help them get out of their pain, because pain is a huge motivator. They will do anything to get out of pain. And if they come to you and they're like, I don't care what you do to me, just fix me, and
That
you give them a result that
that
they can feel,
yeah,
it's over. They're
yeah,
there forever. You
yeah,
won't be able to get rid of that client, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I think that's kind of what you're talking about, is you're teaching students how to be that kind of a therapist. And it's absolutely critical, because everybody needs massage. I don't think there's one person out there that doesn't need it, to be honest. And we have enough people in the market for everybody to be fully booked all the time. We have more people that need us and less massage therapists than we actually need on this planet. So if you're not busy and you're not booked, I think doing something that's within your niche, that's your passion, whether it's, mat massage or cupping or, whatever it is, find it and go down that road and really become an expert in that field, because that's where you're going to become really critically important and successful, because you can raise your prices. You'll have a line out the door.
Yeah, there's complexity. I mean, I almost learned more about business outside of the massage industry than I did from within. And I'm the kind of person that I'll drive around and I'll see like a shopping center and they got like I don't know, there's a car wash out in the front, and then there's like the Indian restaurant. And I think about their business models and what they deliver and what problem they solve and how the stuff is structured differently. And you're like, man, the car wash folks, so long as the washer, the dryer, the sprayer, the vacuum works, like they just come and collect the money and make sure the suds stuff is loaded. I'm like, that's a crazy, like, do they rent that portion of like the parking lot? How does that, like, how does that work? I would look at other businesses and I got more insight into how business ran. My marketing has been very different than most people's massage marketing. And I think that's something that I had to find my own little group, my own little niche of people. And I think also it's difficult because even though I have a brand and I'm trying to get students certified next level pain relief, I'm not trying to make mini-me's. I understand that, like, if you studied what I did, your marketing is going to be slightly different. Your presence is going to be slightly different. You have to draw clients. We have such a deeply personal business connecting with people. That's the thing that I think Massage Envy can't replicate. They can't replicate the connection you have with your clients, and that's so individualized.
And it's the opposite of what business professionals will tell you to do in your business. Because if you try to sell your business, when you prepare to sell your business or go out of business or retire in a business, professionals will tell you, how can this business not be affiliated with you? And I don't think that's even possible to do if you're a massage therapist.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tough one.
That gets into like the brand of Massage Envy, and then people who work at Massage Envy leaving, and like, non-compete clauses and not wanting them to take clients and things. One of my goals, remember I said I don't like defense? People look at me and they're like, dude, but people are going to take your stuff and they're going to do mat work and take your suspension and steal it. And I'm like, whoa. You think people are going to create mat-based customers, steal suspension, and they're going to do mat-based work in public, in groups, and like help people? And they're like, yeah, they're going to steal your stuff. And I'm like, it sounds like they just created a whole new market that can train online for $7 a month from 4 camera angles. Like, this is not a rocket ship. Competition means that they have to be able to replace your service with another service. If somebody delivers a better product, please show me how I need to change my stuff.
Yeah. Well, one thing about the massage industry is you can create whatever you want. I mean, you get a piece of clay when you get your license, and you get to form it into whatever you decide you want it to be. Um, it could be something like a very relaxing, like you said, aromatherapy, Swedish massage with, all the stuff. Or, if you don't want to compete with every Joe Schmo on the block, you
Yeah.
can find a niche that
I,
actually solves problems.
Now, I'll give you a quick example of what I deal with. I've been teaching in Austin for a long time. I got a phone call one day, and a local facility owner was asking for training. And I said, oh, okay. I go through my usual spiel, which is table or mat. Well, table, they work on tables. And I go, okay, the table tie class is 2 days. And he's like, nah, we're not interested in all that. We just want a day. So this guy's changing my curriculum and structure to fit his place. And I go, all right. I mean, we work it out. We set a fee. I go in, the check cleared, start setting up cameras. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm setting up the cameras to film my class. And he's like, no, we don't allow that here. And I go, so am I not teaching the class? I film all my classes and continue setting up my equipment. He backs down. I teach the students. The students are learning hand-saving techniques that help people out of chronic pain completely effortlessly. They are raving and doing cartwheels. Class ends. A couple weeks later, I talk to my contact at the facility, and he's like, yo, man, there's a problem. This is in Austin. There's a problem, man. There's a big problem. All right, what's the problem? He's like, the boss doesn't like it. And I go, okay, hold on. Are you using the techniques that I taught you to help people out of pain rapidly? Absolutely. Is it completely effortless for you to deliver? Absolutely. Are you seeing more clients, rebooking those clients, and making you and the owner more money? He's like, absolutely. The problem is your boss. He wants something that's ineffective. Let him teach that. I'm not going to apologize because I just solved the fucking problem in a way that he doesn't like. If he doesn't want to do research on me where I'm cursing in every goddamn video, then let him hire somebody else to do that for him. I'm not here to make apologies because I help people out of pain and teach innovative techniques that your society, culture, and schools won't accept. If you continue doing what you're doing and you extrapolate into the future, Stretch Lab and Stretch Zone are going to eat a huge portion of the marketplace because you fail to innovate, because you want to play defense instead of going out and creating the new services that wow the clients and solve a problem.
We've given our listeners a lot to think about and talk about. And if you have more questions for Robert about what he teaches, what he does, we're going to provide his contact information, upcoming trainings, his links to find out how to sign up for a $7 a month training. The links below. So yeah, do you have anything else you want to add, Robert, before we call it quits?
Find somebody in your area who's doing the thing that you want to do and go apprentice with them. Say, I will clean your floors. I will do whatever. You need somebody in a niche to be able to help you figure out, and they have to be successful. Somebody who's successfully doing what you want to do. Like if you do Lomi Lomi and you're like, I want to do Lomi Lomi, cool. Find a Lomi Lomi person in your area and go apprentice with them and beg them to pay them, work with them, train with them to continue learning, not just the body work. How do you structure the business to become known and get clients for that niche service?
I love it. Yeah. Attach yourself to somebody who's doing it better than you and have them guide your way. And you might find a path that's specific to you after you found that, mentor. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Handcrafted Therapy podcast. I would love to hear from you. You can email us at podcast@handcraftedtherapy.com, or you can come by the store. It's at 3303 North Central Expressway, suite number 240 in Plano, Texas. 75023. Or you can connect with me on social, Instagram, Facebook, #Handcrafted Therapy. I'm Julie Alexander, and I wish you a very happy and healthy day.